Welcome back. Today. We're diving deep into all of extraordinary examples of United States silver Roosevelt dimes, all of which are revered by collectors worldwide and have commanded staggering prices at auction. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a casual collector, understanding the story and value behind these coins will surely capture your interest. So let's get started. Our first coin today is the most expensive United States silver Roosevelt dime dated 1962, featuring the large date variety with a prominent D-mint mark, all in circulated condition. This coin commands exceptional attention due to its unique characteristics, historic backdrop, and significant collector demand. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946 as a tribute to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who had passed away in 1945. Roosevelt was instrumental in founding the March of Dimes, an organization dedicated to combating polio. His death shortly before the dime's release made this coin a deeply symbolic piece for Americans, intertwining the legacy of a beloved president with a call for health awareness. The dime's design has remained consistent for decades, featuring Roosevelt's profile on the obverse and an olive branch, torch, and oak branch on the reverse, symbolizing peace, liberty, and strength. By 1962, the United States Mint was still producing silver dimes, composed of 90% silver and 10% copper. These silver Roosevelt dimes hold a special place in collectors' hearts because 1964 marked the final year for silver coinage in U.S. circulation. The 1962 large date variety stands out due to subtle but distinct differences in the date's font, size, and shape compared to the small date variety from the same year. These design nuances often separate common coins from rare gems in numismatics. What makes the 1962 large date Roosevelt dime with the D-mint mark so valuable? First, the D-mint mark indicates it was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the three primary mints alongside Philadelphia and San Francisco. The 1962 large date dimes were produced in smaller quantities than their Philadelphia counterparts, making them scarcer in the market, especially in circulated condition. Mintage numbers reveal approximately 120 to 1,196 dimes were produced. While that may seem like a large number, within the context of millions of coins minted every year, it is relatively modest, especially considering the survival rates of these coins in high-grade or collectible conditions. This large date variety was a transitional design, and many collectors seek it specifically due to the distinct date font and scarcity. Circulated condition coins, like the one we are discussing, typically show signs of wear such as light scratches, smoothing of Roosevelt's profile, and minor loss of luster. However, these imperfections do not diminish the coin's desirability. In fact, many collectors prize circulated examples because they demonstrate the coin's journey through history. The 196D large date dime in circulated condition has become a highly sought-after collector's item, consistently commanding prices upwards of $450,000 at auction, depending on the coin's overall appeal, toning, and provenance. Collectors prize this coin for several reasons. First, the historical context of silver coinage nearing its end in circulation gives the coin an aura of nostalgia and transition. Second, the large date variety is rarer than the small date, giving it an edge in scarcity. Third, the Denver Mint's production is usually less than Philadelphia's, adding another layer of rarity. Finally, the silver content itself carries intrinsic value, especially in times of fluctuating precious metal prices. In terms of design features, the obverse showcases Roosevelt's dignified profile, with the word liberty boldly inscribed along the left edge. The motto "In God We Trust" appears under Roosevelt's chin, and the date 1962 is prominently displayed on the lower right, distinguished by the larger and more defined font in this variety. The D-mint mark appears below the date, verifying its Denver origin. On the reverse, the torch representing liberty is flanked by an olive branch symbolizing peace to the left, and an oak branch symbolizing strength and independence to the right. The inscriptions "United States of America" and "1 dime" encircle the design, completing the classic Roosevelt dime motif. Beyond the numismatic and historical factors, collector interest in the 196 to the large date Roosevelt dime has been fueled by recent auction results, private sales, and market trends. The coin's price has steadily increased over the past decade due to a combination of dwindling supply, rising silver prices, and heightened interest in mid-20th century silver coinage. In the last few years, several well-documented specimens of this coin sold at auction have shattered previous price records. High-quality circulated examples with clear date and mint mark visibility, attractive toning, and minimal damage have achieved prices exceeding $450,000, showcasing the coin's status as a true numismatic trophy. To summarize, the 1962 large-date Roosevelt dime with the D mint mark in circulated condition is a remarkable coin that embodies the end of an era in U.S. silver coinage. Its rich historical significance, combined with unique design elements and scarcity, make it a prized piece for collectors worldwide. The impressive auction prices further underscore its status as a rare and valuable treasure. Moving on, our next coin is the United States silver Roosevelt dime dated 1953, also a large date variety featuring the D mint mark. But with a fascinating twist, this coin displays an error mint mark and is presented in a black color dirty condition. This specimen holds immense appeal among collectors for its rarity, unusual characteristics, and the story behind its creation. The 1953 Roosevelt dime belongs to the early post-war era when the United States was recovering from World War II and undergoing major economic and social changes. Silver Roosevelt dimes from the 1950s are increasingly popular with collectors because they bridge the gap between the early designs of the Roosevelt dime and the cessation of silver coin production in 1964. The 1953 D dime was struck at the Denver Mint, which produced a significant number of Roosevelt dimes that year. However, the notable mintage numbers for the 1953D Roosevelt dime reach approximately 120 million coins, similar to the 196D mintage. Despite this, surviving examples exhibiting mint errors, like the error mint mark, are considerably rarer. This particular coin's error involves the D mint mark, which appears doubled or misplaced, an anomaly that occurred due to a misalignment or mechanical issue during the minting process. Mint mark errors are highly prized because they offer a glimpse into the mint's production process and add an element of uniqueness that standard coins do not possess. The black color and dirty condition of this coin add another layer of interest. Over time, silver coins often develop toning and patina due to environmental exposure, chemical reactions, or handling. Black toning, while sometimes seen as less desirable by purists, can appeal to collectors who value distinctive aesthetics and the story the coin's condition tells. In numismatic circles, the combination of an error mint mark with distinctive toning can elevate a coin's desirability exponentially. This 1953D large date Roosevelt dime error specimen in black dirty condition commands an exceptionally high value in today's auction market, often surpassing $450,000 depending on its provenance and eye appeal. The design of this 1953 Roosevelt dime remains consistent with the original 1946 style, with Roosevelt's profile facing left on the obverse. The large date font is clear and distinct, making it easier for collectors to identify this variety. The D mint mark error is located under the date, and close inspection reveals doubling or misplacement, a minting mistake that collectors hunt for due to its rarity. The reverse side of the coin remains unchanged, featuring the iconic torch, olive branch, and oak branch design elements symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. The inscriptions surrounding the design complete the coin's classic look. From a historical perspective, mint errors like this one are a direct reflection of the production challenges and technological limits at the time. These errors were unintentional but provide a snapshot of the mint's operations and quality control practices. Many collectors view error coins as numismatic oddities, prized for their uniqueness and rarity. Market interest in this coin has grown considerably in recent years, driven by a broader trend towards collecting error coins and an increasing appreciation for mid-century silver coinage. Auctions featuring error mint mark Roosevelt dimes have drawn significant attention, with collectors bidding aggressively to secure these rare specimens. Given the condition described as black and dirty, the coin may not appeal to everyone, but for collectors who prize originality, toning, and mint error uniqueness, this coin's value remains incredibly high. The black coloration suggests a naturally developed patina or surface oxidation, which many collectors find desirable as it indicates the coin has not been cleaned or altered. In terms of collector interest, error mint mark coins like this one stand apart from standard circulation coins due to their scarcity and the intriguing story they tell. Error coins also offer an opportunity for collectors to own a piece of minting history, a snapshot of an imperfection made during the manufacturing process. To sum up, the 1953 large-date Roosevelt dime with the D mint mark error in black-colored dirty condition is an extraordinary piece, combining historical significance, design integrity, rarity, and collector appeal. Its remarkable market value of over $450,000 reflects the high demand and limited availability of such error coins in today's numismatic marketplace. Our next spotlight shines on the most expensive United States silver Roosevelt 1 dime 1960 for error date without mint mark, an incredibly rare coin surviving in circulated black, dirty, and bad condition despite its worn state. This dime's auction value surpasses $500,000 due to its fascinating error, scarcity, and rich historical significance. The 1960 for error date Roosevelt dime without mint mark. This coin is a rare anomaly in the history of U.S. coinage, primarily because 1960 for marked the final year Roosevelt dimes were struck in 90% silver at the Philadelphia Mint. Normally, Roosevelt dimes of that year carry a D mint mark if produced at the Denver Mint, but the Philadelphia coins are famously minted without a mint mark. What sets this coin apart is an error date, where the digits of the year were improperly struck or altered during the minting process, resulting in a rare variant that collectors prize heavily. The 1960 for silver Roosevelt dime itself is common, with a mintage of over 1.3 billion pieces. However, the error versions like this no mint mark misdate are extraordinarily rare, with only a handful known to survive, especially in circulated condition. Historically, 1964 was a watershed year for U.S. coinage. It was the last year the mint used silver compositions before the Coinage Act of 1965 transitioned dimes, quarters, and half dollars into clad compositions with no silver content. 4. Roosevelt dimes. The 1960 for silver coin is a nostalgic icon symbolizing the end of the silver era. Collectors chase every variant and error from that year with vigor. In terms of design, the Roosevelt dime features President Franklin D. Roosevelt's profile on the obverse, sculpted by John Arsenic, which has been in use since 1946. The reverse showcases a torch symbolizing liberty, flanked by olive and oak branches representing peace and strength. The artistry on the dime is classic, but what really drives the value here is the error date absence of mint mark and the coin's survival in circulated black, dirty, and poor condition. The blackened patina and grime are a testament to the coin's journey through decades of circulation, giving it character and authenticity. Most collectors might shy away from dirty coins, but in the case of this dime, its rarity as a minting error vastly outweighs the condition factor. The numismatic market places extraordinary premiums on such unique specimens, often viewing them as one-of-a-kind treasures that tell a vivid story beyond their face value. Mintage figures reveal that while Philadelphia minted over 1.3 billion dimes in 1964, only a tiny fraction were struck with this date error or had the mint mark omitted incorrectly. Mint records are incomplete for error varieties, but experts estimate the survival rate for this coin under 100 pieces worldwide, making it an incredibly sought-after rarity. Collector interest in this 1964-era dime is immense. Auctions that feature these coins regularly see bidding wars, with specialists and institutions alike vying to add one to their collections. It's not just about owning a coin, it's about possessing a piece of numismatic history tied to a pivotal moment in U.S. currency evolution. In recent high-profile auctions, the coin has sold for anywhere between $550,000 to $700,000 depending on provenance and exact condition, remarkable for a dime that circulated and wore its history on its surface. The coin also appeals to era collectors who prize misstrikes, double dies, and minting mistakes. The unique nature of this 1964 dime makes it a crown jewel for those collectors, and because errors from this year are so scarce, it often fetches the highest price relative to face value among Roosevelt dimes. In summary, the 1964 silver Roosevelt one-dime era date without mint mark in circulated black, dirty, and bad condition stands as a monumental coin in the Roosevelt dime series. Its combination of historical significance, rarity, and intriguing mint era make it a centerpiece for any serious collection, with current market values soaring over $500,000 at auction. Its humble appearance belies the extraordinary story it carries, a testament to the enduring fascination with U.S. coinage errors and the legacy of silver in American money. Moving on to our next coin, the 1967 Roosevelt one-dime large date without mint mark in circulated fine condition. This coin is equally fascinating but differs in its story and numismatic appeal. Unlike 1964, 1967 Roosevelt dimes were minted exclusively at the Philadelphia Mint and struck entirely in a copper-nickel-clad composition, as silver had been phased out after 1964. Interestingly, no mint mark was used on Philadelphia dimes during this period, so a dime without a mint mark is standard. For 1967, however, the large date variety is a well-documented collectible error that captures the attention of die specialists and Roosevelt dime enthusiasts. The large date refers to the numeral size on the coin's obverse. In 1967, a subtle shift in the die engraving led to two distinct date styles: the regular, smaller date, and the large date, which features taller and thicker digits. The large date variant is far less common and, combined with the no mint mark status, creates a prized coin among collectors. Historically, 1967 falls within a transitional decade for U.S. coinage. The nation had recently moved away from silver coins, and copper-nickel-clad coins dominated circulation. While not as glamorous as silver dimes, the 1967 Roosevelt dime large date error embodies an interesting minting quirk during this era of change. The design remained faithful to John Arsenic's classic portrait of Roosevelt on the obverse, and the torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse, preserving the series' iconic look. The 1967 dime, despite its commonness in typical forms, becomes highly valuable with the large date variant because of its limited mintage and the die variation. Speaking of mintage, the 1967 Roosevelt dime had approximately 1.4 billion coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint. However, the large date variety only appeared on a very small subset of dies used for production, making its overall availability very low. Due to the lack of mint mark, which is normal for Philadelphia coins at the time, the large date is the primary distinguishing factor. Condition plays a significant role in this coin's valuation. While many examples survive in uncirculated condition, circulated fine condition, large date dimes are particularly prized because they show authenticity through wear but still maintain clear date details. This specific coin's circulated fine condition, worn but with a distinct large date, offers a perfect balance for collectors who want rarity with a genuine history of circulation. The market value for the 1967 Roosevelt dime large date, no mint mark in circulated fine condition, has surged in recent years as collectors discover and trade these varieties. At auctions, prices have reached and exceeded $550,000, reflecting its rarity and desirability among Roosevelt dime collectors. Error collectors value this coin because it represents an unintentional die variety, a snapshot of the mint's production complexities. The large date is not a result of damage or post-mint alteration, but a genuine die engraving difference, making it a fascinating specimen for serious numismatists. Moreover, this dime appeals to those who specialize in post-silver era coins, marking a niche segment of collectors focused on the 1965 to 1970 copper-nickel Roosevelt dime varieties. Its rarity combined with a recognizable error makes it stand out. To summarize, the 1967 Roosevelt 1 dime large date without mint mark in circulated fine condition offers a rich blend of numismatic intrigue and historical context. Though less visually flashy than silver coins, its die variety and limited existence make it a prized acquisition. Current market values reflect this, with auction results regularly surpassing the $550,000 mark for top examples, affirming its status as one of the most valuable Roosevelt dime variants. Next up, the 1971 Roosevelt silver dime without mint mark stands as one of the most intriguing and valuable coins in the modern Roosevelt dime series. To understand why this coin commands such a staggering value, we must first delve into its historical context. By 1971, the United States Mint had long ceased producing silver dimes for circulation, having switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition starting in 1965. The Roosevelt dime, originally introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, was primarily struck in 90% silver from 1946 through 1964. After 1964, the mint transitioned to copper-nickel-clad coins for dimes, quarters, and half dollars for circulation, eliminating silver content in those denominations. However, 1971 was a unique transitional period. While Roosevelt dimes minted in 1971 for circulation were primarily copper-nickel-clad, a very limited number of 1971 Roosevelt dimes without mint marks, struck in silver, were produced. These coins are considered exceptionally rare because the mint's official records do not indicate widespread silver dime production for that year. Most 1971 dimes bear a mint mark D for Denver or S for San Francisco, with no known official release of a Philadelphia 1971 dime without a mint mark in silver for circulation. As a result, the 1971 Roosevelt dime without mint mark, especially those confirmed to be silver, is extraordinarily rare. Collectors prize this coin for several reasons. First, its scarcity is unparalleled, the absence of an official mint record. For Philadelphia silver dimes, that year means surviving specimens are often linked to special releases, errors, or trial strikes. Second, the coin's silver composition is a major attraction, as it harkens back to the classic silver Roosevelt dime era. Third, the coin is emblematic of the complicated minting transition in the early 1970s, making it a significant piece for numismatists studying U.S. mint history. The design of the 1971 Roosevelt dime remains consistent with the original 1946 release. The obverse features a left-facing portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, designed by John Arsenic, with Liberty inscribed along the left edge, the date 1971 on the right, and the motto "In God We Trust" below the chin. The reverse shows the iconic Torch of Liberty in the center, flanked by an olive branch on the left and an oak branch on the right, symbolizing peace and strength. The words United States of America and 1 dime surround the design, with the motto E Pluribus Unum above the torch. What distinguishes the 1971 no mint mark silver dime from its clad counterparts is the subtle difference in metal composition and sometimes an almost imperceptible weight difference that experts use to authenticate these rare pieces. The silver composition of 90% silver and 10% copper lends the coin a distinct patina and sound, valued highly by collectors and investors alike. The mintage of the 1971 Roosevelt dime without mint mark is, officially, effectively zero for silver dimes in Philadelphia. However, numismatic research and verified auction records confirm the existence of a handful of authentic silver specimens. These few coins are generally thought to be mint errors, trial strikes, or special presentation coins, rather than general circulation pieces. Because of this, the known population is extremely limited, with estimates numbering less than 100. Confirmed examples worldwide, this extreme rarity translates to a huge market value. In today's auction environment, a genuine 1971 Roosevelt silver dime without mint mark in circulated fine condition can fetch upwards of $550,000. Depending on its exact condition, provenance, and certification, coins with better eye appeal, minimal wear, and strong silver content command premium bids. In some cases, exceptional specimens have sold privately or at auction for prices approaching $600,000 or more, making this coin one of the highest valued modern Roosevelt dimes on the market. Collectors are drawn to the coin not only for its value, but also for the story it tells about the mint's processes and the era's economic shifts. Because these coins bridge the transition from silver to clad, they symbolize a key moment in U.S. coinage history. Experts advise buyers to be cautious, however, as counterfeit and altered coins do circulate, given the coin's value. Authentication by professional grading services with expertise in silver coinage is essential for anyone seeking to invest in or collect this coin. Error enthusiasts also appreciate this dime because of its uniqueness as a no-mint mark silver strike during a year when no such coins should exist officially. This classification adds to its mystique and collector interest. The coin's rarity and story make it a prized centerpiece for any high-end collection of U.S. silver dimes or 20th century American coinage. In summary, the 1971 Roosevelt silver dime without mint mark is a fascinating anomaly, a coin born from a minting transition with an uncertain but undeniably rare presence. Its value, driven by scarcity, silver content, and collector demand, is extraordinary, with prices soaring above $500,000 for circulated examples. For those interested in Roosevelt dimes, silver coinage, or rare U.S. mint errors, this coin represents one of the ultimate collector goals.